When I first got to federal prison, I was talking to an officer in education, and I was explaining to him that flying on a Conair plane, like the Fed plane, was really miserable. I was like, you cannot believe this unless you'd ever experienced it. I said, they chain you and they shackle you, and sometimes they'll black box your hands and they'll chain you to another inmate, and you have to climb up these little narrow stairs up into this plane that's like duct taped together. It's a great big imposing plane. And then there's a whole bunch of other inmates in there, and they don't feed you for hours, and you can't use the bathroom, and the landing is really rough and the takeoff. And he's like, oh yeah, that's called diesel therapy. And I said, what's diesel therapy? And he goes, oh, you'll get it when you've been with the feds for a while. When you become a problem, they transfer you around. And I was surprised at that. I said, well, that doesn't seem right. Well, a year later, I was blogging at that prison about the prison, and I got put in the SHU, which is called the Special Housing Unit, or the hole. It's basically a jail within the prison where they take you and isolate you. And I was there for a few weeks. And again, the U.S. Marshals show up, they chain me, they shackle me, they chain me to another inmate, and they take me to a landing strip, and Conair's back. Great big plane. Shows up, U.S. Marshals with the shotguns and the sunglasses. I got to shimmy back up into that plane, get up there. And I learned, because the girl next to me, she's like, whatever you do, don't eat the bologna sandwich. So I learned, don't eat when you're on Conair, because it's a bumpy ride and because the food will make you sick and they won't let you use the bathroom. So we ended up landing two other places, and finally we got to Pahrump, Nevada, and they take us on a bus all the way out to this transfer center. And then we're there for 3 weeks, and we have no idea. I have no idea where I'm going next or when they're going to show up. They just call your name in the middle of the night. Ended up getting back on a bus, back to Conair. Again, the whole takeoff is bumpy. They end up going to Oklahoma, and I went to Grady County, Oklahoma, which is a notorious county jail that you don't want to go to. Last night I was talking to a group of guys at the halfway house, and they're all just got out of federal prison. And I was telling them the story, and they were all just nodding their heads. And I said, hey guys, when you're fighting the feds, who are you fighting? And they go, you're fighting yourself. And I said, absolutely. You're never fighting. You're fighting a brick wall. You're fighting your own weaknesses. And that's what we learned dealing with the federal justice system.